In this lesson, we're going to review options for generating JSON responses and RESTful services. I'm going to use the predictions 3 service, which is written in JAX-RS, for illustration. You're looking at the working file json.txt. So if you look at line 1, where the cursor is placed, you see the standard Java XML annotation at XML root element, and then lower at line 2, you see another annotation at XML element. That's on the getter for the who property. There are similar annotations on the getWhat and the getID properties. The result of these annotations is the following. If you come up and look at this comment, I'll highlight it. You see that the outermost element in the XML document is prediction, and then inside, nested inside, are ID, what, and who elements. That's basically the result of those annotations. There's nothing in the code itself that explicitly generates this XML. The JAX-RS does that automatically because of the annotations. Now, it's fair to say, I think, that Java's support for XML has been solid right from the start, and you could make the case nowadays that it's best in breed. So it's quite good. It's certainly adequate to any task that we might have in XML. With JSON, it's a different story. The JSON support is quite good, but it's mostly third-party. So for example, down here at this bullet point, I single out JSON, and you see the URL there. JSON is widely used for JSON generation and consumption. We'll see the other side a bit later. It's the JSON package that's used in the predictions 3 service. There are other lighter weight packages. For example, JSON simple is something that I like if I just have to do routine generation of JSON documents. In any case, the important thing is that the support is there and it comes from third-party packages. Now, the predictions 3 service could rely upon the JAX-RS runtime to generate both XML and JSON automatically, but the predictions 3 service doesn't do that. Instead, the JSON is generated manually. So I'd like to explain why, and the last point down here covers the 3 basic reasons. The first reason was mentioned earlier. That is, JAX-RS will generate JSON payloads automatically, but the requester has to inject an HTTP header into the request. Basically, that header puts in the MIME type application/JSON. In the earlier curl tests, this is done. So for illustration, if you like, you could go back and take a look at the curls test for the predictions 2 service. The second reason is that the predictions 3 service already has a uniform style of RESTful routing. So for example, if the client wants an XML response for all of the predictions, the URI would be /predictions/XML. If the client would prefer JSON, then it would be /predictions/JSON. And if the client would prefer plain text, it would be /predictions/plain. So the routing already covers the desired type. I didn't want to impose a further burden on the client by requiring the client to inject an HTTP header. Finally, it's really no big deal. It's quite easy to generate a JSON payload given either JSON or one of the other libraries. So for example, in the very last line, you see the code at the end, new object mapper, and so on, that's used to generate a single prediction. The same command would be used to generate a list of predictions in JSON. So there's really very little burden to what I just described as the manual generation of JSON documents.